Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Grief Let's Talk About It podcast. You guys know who it is. This is Tony Lynch. I am the host of this podcast, and yes, we are your number one podcast for bringing you stories around death, dying, and grief, all the messiness that comes in between with some amazing people out here doing some amazing things. Now, before I bring on my next guest, I would like to say, if this is your first time tuning in, do me a favor, head on over to that YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you'll be notified every time that we drop a new episode. But most importantly, this is a live stream, so if you have any questions or comments for either myself or my guests, please put them in the comments section, and we'll be sure to answer them as we go. Now, one other thing, before I bring her up, I have to say that this is for educational purposes only. Now, guys, help me welcome my next guest, Cyndee. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. I really am. I've been excited for this. Everything it's been a beautiful morning so far, and I get to talk with you today, right? And we're
Absolutely.
just gonna have some fun. We're just gonna have some fun. So before we get started, do me a favor, introduce yourself to the audience. Tell people who you are, where you're from, and about the work that you do.
Okay. So my name is Cynthia Garrett, but most people call me Cyndee. I'm just a simple person. I'm a mother, a wife, and a dog groomer. I am trying to figure out how to live and grieve at the same time.
Yes.
And so this is a new journey for me. And now, my life, I am in communities with people who have lost their children. I do community work with multiple nonprofits. I can speak on Less is More. I'm on the board. ACE Project, murdered moms and dads of murdered sons and daughters. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to make sure I say everybody grief to hope. I'm on the board with that one as well. So, but like I said, this is a new journey for me. So I'm just now stepping out and starting to speak on grief after five
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. And thank you for that. Big shout out to Hope. She's in the chats today, checking us out. And I met Hope about a year or two ago, and like love and just watching her just grow and do what she do, man. And of course we talked about it. Um,
Yes.
and just to see that this community is growing is something that is hardly ever talked about. So I'm really glad to see that there's more awareness being pointed towards it. Right now, let's go back a little bit. Let's talk about your journey, right? You know what I'm saying? What
Okay.
was it like leading up into where your life changed?
Okay. So on March 14th of 2020, I got a phone call from my oldest daughter that her sister had been shot. Um, at the time, she was just shot. Um, I rushed to her apartment, and by the time I got there, she had been pronounced dead. Um, it was the same day that our city was shut down for COVID. So I didn't get to identify her. I didn't get to see her to the day of her funeral, which was not a regular funeral like everybody else would have gotten. Um, and since then, I have just trying to figure it all out. I'm a mom. I'm still a mom, and I still have to be a mom. And trying to help my children walk through this grief process as well as individuals, because we all grieve differently. Um, I have a community that of other parents who have lost their children, who have inspired me to keep going and to keep talking, because my daughter is, I don't want her to ever be forgotten, and I don't want her story to be at the end where she was murdered.
leads me to my next question. Yeah, I'm so proud of, I think Juan, I think that's for you.
That's my husband.
I'm proud of her too, and thank you for sharing that your vulnerability is such a huge strength, and
I'm trying to get there.
no,
This
no,
is my
no, no,
second
trust me.
podcast, and
You,
I'm
you
trying to
know the
get there. I'm
crazy
trying
part
to get
about
a
it is,
voice.
no, and this is the best way to do it is to get that voice out there, and it's just like so many other people out here, like hope, and you know, you guys give them hope, right? You guys give them the strength to have a voice because this is something, losing a child to homicide is a different type of pain, right? Because it's in the hands of someone else. It's in the hands of someone else, and you can't dictate those things, right? And you know when I've experienced losing a child to unknown causes, and I don't like to compare them, but I love to understand them, right?
Right.
And so now, I want to get deeper into a conversation of understanding, what that loss looks like, and how do you navigate that,
Well,
right?
first, it's been 5 years where I'm just even trying to start navigating. I was so numb and angry that I didn't care. Um, I was just trying to continue every day, just I was still trying to be that wife and be that mother and have a job and be an employee. I was still just trying to be that, and that was exhausting enough that given the grief time, I wasn't doing. I was blocking it out. I was how do I want to say this? I was more or less using the wrong coping skills. I was working too much. I wasn't doing the right things to process the grief properly. You know, um, Now I feel like I am ready to heal. I'm ready to help others. I am that are feeling like me because this is a very lonely journey and one that doesn't get talked about a lot and gets put on the back burner because life continues, right? Life still goes on. And it's hard for those who have lost a child for your life to keep going on.
Yeah. You got a lot of love and support in the chats right now. You got Hope in there. Great to see Hope in there. As I said earlier, Ashley Applebaum, her husband Juan, and I love this comment that he just put in here. He says, "My beautiful wife saved my life during this whole process." You know, and the reason why I say that is because it's such a huge blessing when when you can when you can hold each other up, right? Because like unfortunately for me, I didn't have that, right? I didn't
Oh,
have
he's
that.
been my rocket as well.
But yeah, and I was going to say the same thing. I'm sure it goes both ways,
Absolutely.
but to show that love and support is coming from people that that genuinely care about you, that genuinely love you. That's a huge thing. People don't understand how much that means, right? It's been 5 years, and yes, look, healing takes time. Take your time, please. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And you're doing all the right things. Like I said, your strength that you have is so encouraging, and I want to see that for other people out there, right?
Me
To
too.
find their voice, to be able to share their stories as well. Because now, one thing that I've noticed since my years of being on this earth, right? it was never talked about. Although it happened all the time, it was never talked about. And so now I want to ask you a question. Why do you think that is? Why do you think people don't talk about the fact that, when they lose a child to homicide, that enough, we barely talk about child loss. It's like no one wants to come to the fact of that these things happen, right? There's people out here like ourselves, that experience these horrific losses.
Right.
And it's like no one knows how
It's
to
hard.
approach this.
It's
It's really
hard.
hard.
It's hard. It's
And
so hard. Nobody wants to. Are they afraid the pain's going to be projected on them and they don't want
right,
that?
right.
Is it they say the wrong thing? They don't want to say the wrong thing. You know,
That's you know,
I know that I didn't because I didn't want to say the wrong thing, before I lost Allie. And I think that that's something that needs to be talked about more. Um, Communication in it all about grief needs to be communicated better. Um, we we're afraid of it. Is it because I mean it's connected with death?
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I know this was going to be a
it,
deep
it, I mean,
conversation. I tell
honestly,
you.
in 5 years, it's still hard to talk about. I'm learning
Look,
how to open up and express how I feel, um,
take your time.
and it is hard. I mean, every day is a different feeling. I actually went and got my hair washed and stuff today, and had somebody else do it just to get to have a positive energy inside of me to come on the podcast, because before I was in my feelings because today is the day that Allie lost her best friend 7 years ago, and her whole life changed before this incident. And so it's already an emotional day for me and for my family, because we were rushing to the aid for Allie and not knowing if she was going to be alive or dead when we got there. And then
Look, look,
and then 21
you're about
months
to make
later
me
she
start
was
crying.
murdered.
Girl, you about to make me start crying, girl. I'm like, man, like, but I do think that is, what we're sharing right now is something that needs to be shared with people. And the reason why I say that, look, it's going to sound crazy, but grief is the deepest human connection that we can ever have with one another. It's what
Yeah.
brings us together and helps us heal. The healing process is going to take a while, right?
Hmm.
And thank you for holding, just being here with me today, knowing that this is an anniversary as well, right?
Yes.
And it seems like this month itself, because I'm going to be celebrating my son's anniversary on the 16th of this month, right? It'll be 9 years for him. And I would tell you, as a man, the hardest thing that I ever learned was to actually be open and vulnerable, to learn how to cry, right? Um,
Oh, I don't have a problem with that. I'm the biggest
yeah, I
crybaby there
think
is.
I used to have I still struggle with it because I pick and choose what I can cry about, right? You
No.
know what I'm saying? There's some things that is out of my control, but
Mm-mm.
I can still pick and choose what I would like to cry about. One of them is that right there. As the anniversary comes up, I'm celebrating, but I also realize too, like through those tears, and this is just me. This is just me, right? It's something that helps me. I believe that tears is a way that our loved ones is giving us permission to remember them, right? It's the love that we never got to completely give. that we still keep thought up from the future that we no longer have, and a past that's still holding on to us, right?
Right.
And it takes a long time to get to where we are today, right? But the first step is to say this is necessity. It is a necessity. We have to take those steps. And I want to put this comment up here. Juan says so many don't know how to speak on it and don't want us to let it hold us down. But she took all of that and put it in community groups and such positive things. And so proud. Thank you, Juan. And I definitely agree. Hope put in here. We have learned to hide our feelings for the
Yes.
comfort of others. We have to stop hiding. I
And the
totally
pro
agree with that too.
we have a lot of when we hide our grief, we're hurting ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally. It causes a lot of addict behavior in multiple different ways because we're holding it in and we're not processing it right. It is a mental thing, and it's something that we have to process. If we don't process it, we're not living right.
Mhm.
We're not living to our fullest. And that is what gave me the want to do this because I want to live. I don't want to just survive. I want to live. I want to feel things again. I want to enjoy life. I want to smile. I want to help others. And you can't do that when you're just surviving and going through the
I'm sure
motions.
there's some people probably in the chats right now that is just like probably crying. This is this. I love that though. Because it gives them a deeper understanding of what we actually go through. And if they are out there crying right now, just put a heart in the comments. You know what I'm
And
saying?
I'm
Just put a
holding
heart in the
you. I'm
comments. You ain't got to
hugging
say
you.
too much. Yeah, they hugging you as well. People know. Like these conversations do get very very deep, and I do love that because the deeper the conversation, the more human it is that it is to express it, and people can relate to that, right? Because it's not all sunshine and roses.
No,
It's not all sunshine and
life
roses, and
isn't.
right,
Life
and
itself isn't. And then you're going to put something so traumatic, and it's not even, I'm so empathetic that I have feelings and pain for the family of the children who took my child. It's not just us going through this. They're losing a child too. Their life is changing too.
right. But it does change the whole dynamic, and again, the
Everything.
support that you have, if for everybody out there listening, if this is tugging on your heartstrings, right? You know what I'm saying? That you want to show that you have that support for Cyndee and others like herself. Do me a favor, put a heart in the comments, man. You ain't gotta say nothing. Just enjoy the conversation with us, and just show that support for those out there that are struggling, and even for the men that are in the comment section. Juan, right? You know what I'm saying? I love that right there, right? You know what I'm saying? Like I love all of that because Juan is like, look, he just put it up here. For me as a man, I consider myself being a rock for the family and being a strong black man. But truth be told, I was hurting. And if it wasn't for family and groups, I had to cry. You know, I love seeing the men begin to find their voice as well, to be able to support one another. Now, this is going to lead me into my next question for you. How what was some of the challenges that you have? Because you still have to be a wife, and you still have to be a mother to your other children. What was some of the challenges for you in the personal aspect of being a mother, right, and being a wife? And also, my next question would be, how did you guys come together to support one another?
Being a mother, at first, I thought I was honestly, I was so numb and in a fog that I wasn't. My children didn't go to school properly, but it was COVID, so it was online. But I was not the mother that I was before. I became really easy on them, and because I knew they were hurting just like I was, and I didn't push them. If they wanted that, they had to get it from themselves, and it was ugly, it was bad, but my kids are all now graduated, and they all have great jobs and doing phenomenal. And
Take your time. Take your time. You're in a safe space, so whatever you need to do, Cyndee, you do that, okay?
I'm
Look,
doing it,
I,
okay?
I wish I was there to hug you and your husband, man, but I can give you a virtual hug, you know what I'm saying, to
Yes.
let you know we're in this
Um,
together, right? We're
but the
in this together.
groups, so the groups, the communities that I have found, and Grief to Hope and ACE and Moms of Murdered Son and Daughters, like they really helped navigate the grief so that I could start helping my kids and start being stronger so that I could be there for my kids. Um, and then with my husband, today is actually the anniversary of their son, of him and his first wife's son's death, 27 years ago. Um, so he has already been through this, and he has been my rock. He knew what I was going to need, and um, he's been that 100%. I wouldn't be as strong as I am if I didn't have him holding me up and pushing me forward and encouraging me and not just letting me lay and stay stuck.
I find that that's powerful. That's so powerful. No, it is. It is. It is so powerful, right? Um, and the reason why I say that because there's there's some people that don't have that, and I find it to be powerful because of the simple fact of someone actually cared enough to say, "I'm going to stick around." Because we
Right.
hear the stories, we hear the horror stories when people go through this, families separate, and the blame game comes, and it's such a vulnerable, emotional time and journey. And sometimes we don't know. We don't even know what we want. You
No,
know, we don't
we
even
don't.
know what we want. And I'm gonna say this, and I know Hope probably remember this. It's probably one of the first table talks that Hope did with me in the network, and it was called "How Do You Grieve Someone That You Wanted Dead?" And I remember Hope shared her story, and she talked about it. And as she was talking, just like how you're doing right now, she took us on this journey um, of just becoming who she is and having to navigate that world, right? Um, and finding her voice. And it was, and and watching. I see you over there, Juan. I got you, brother. Hey, man. You know what I'm saying? If you want to join in, you want to have a conversation with us too, man. You know, come in and share his part of the journey, man. I love that. I love the
if
fact that he came up there, man. Big shout out to you, man. Respect for that, man. And like I said, if he wants to jump on and just have to join in with that, come on, let's do it.
Okay.
Laughing his butt off, Juan. Thank you for that. And you was right. He knew exactly what you needed. He walked in there, gave you a kiss on your cheek, and just letting you know that I'm here for you, baby. Like he's in the comment section, and he's just there with you, right? So now,
Absolutely.
when do you think it's easier now to find that support for these different types of grief that we're navigating in the world nowadays?
I think only if you're in that community. I don't think that not that advertisement is what I'm saying, but I don't think that it's talked about for people to know that there is all these groups and all these communities that can help you.
Take your
Hold on
time.
one
Take your
second.
time.
Um, I totally lost my train of thought completely.
That's okay. It is what it is. You was talking about the groups and things like that,
Oh,
how easy it is
yeah.
to have access to.
Right, but when you're okay, so when you're in the community, you have access because you know that there's other people, and you have all kinds of I don't even know what the word is that I'm even trying to come up with, because that is part of grief. You don't know. The words just
Make
get
up the
stuck.
word.
Your mind goes elsewhere. I mean, like, this is literally my journey. This is my everyday. Sometimes I couldn't even tell you the word cabinet. Something is on top of the cabinet. I can't even get cabinet out of my mouth. Like, this is my daily life.
You know,
Oh.
honestly, we're going to be a book in the dictionary for quite some time. Add in some new words now. We're going to use them. I'm telling you.
That's
We're just gonna make up some new words, and we're just gonna put them in there.
And we're going to throw them in the dictionary. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I mean, it's not talked about enough, so that we don't know that there's a community out there. We don't know, there really is. There is over 300 different nonprofits in Louisville, Kentucky, that have to do with gun violence awareness, losing your children to gun violence, losing your parents to gun violence. And we don't we don't all get together. No, there's not anything online, or saying that, hey, you can come here. There's not enough people talking about it. I mean, honestly, yeah, it's isolated. I mean, we really are. And that's that is my whole thing. My path is to unisolate it, and to get these groups working together, and get all of us communicating and making a bigger community awareness that grief doesn't just last 2 weeks like these jobs want us to last. In 2 weeks it's not over with. And then, especially in my case, I'm still in court after 5 years, and still will be in court, because my court trial date, we'll hope that it's going to pray that it will be, isn't until February of 2026. What job is going to allow you to get off work every 6 weeks to go to court? And then the days that are her death day, her birthday, you know, other special days that remind you of your child. It's just, we've got to do better for our people, for us, for our communities. We've got to do better.
You know, first I want to say thank you, Hope. You guys already know.
Yes.
Since I've been in this field for 6 years now, I'm a huge supporter of us, right? And I'm do everything I can to make sure that we bring awareness to these things that are happening, and to normalize these conversations around death, dying, and grief, mental health, and addiction, because these are necessary. This space is a safe space for us, although it is live streamed, right? There's people out there right now that can relate to what you're going through. And there's people haven't commented yet, but they're just sitting back in the backfield, and I love that too, right? You know what I'm saying? At least they're here supporting it, right? And there's people. I mean, there's people that your voice, Cyndee, Hope, Juan, um, and Harlan, other individuals, Ashley, Jody, the people who are in the comments right now are so supportive of it, right? Because they got the chance to see it from the other section, right? And I'm sure there's other people in here that just not say anything, which is again totally fine. But we have to do, at least for me, my thought is that I want to do so much more to get awareness out, right? And so every time people see me, I'm always doing something, right? I'm always trying to bring awareness, and support each other. That's why when I see people, I'm always sharing people's stuff all over the place, and exploring different ways of being able to reach more of an audience, right? You know what I'm saying? Hey, come and join in these conversations, because even if you have not experienced, uh, um, experience these things that we're going through, you know somebody who has, right? You want to know how to support them. Come listen to stories from Cyndee and go see Hope's Group. These communities that we're building together help make a difference in the world, right?
Yes.
Not just one specific thing, but man, the amount of people that have come out the woodworks and said, "This is what I do. This is what I do," and to see those communities grow the way that they have. Even for me, being a men's grief coach. When I first started, there was not too many people doing what I was doing. So yeah, it was a hard thing, especially trying to convince men to talk. Especially men like myself who've experienced child loss and sibling loss and parental loss and losing all of my friends and having to navigate that world alone. I finally said no. I was like, no, I want to be around other men just like myself, because I wanted to learn, but I wanted to create a space for us to come and be supported by other men, to be uplifted by other men, but to hold that space for us to be able to have conversations openly without judgment, right?
Hmm.
Without the judgment, without being told you're weak or anything like that, because man, we're all human beings in this world. There's only one race, that's the human race, and these things
That's
like
right.
here, it lets us know that it does not discriminate. It does not discriminate. It don't care who you
Not at
are,
all.
how old you are, right? Or what I'm saying, or
What
what
neighborhood
color
you
you are.
live in, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I think once we get to a certain place during this grief journey, we begin to our healing becomes contagious to other people, right? And it encourages them to go out there and do the same thing. So we have to continuously create these spaces for ourselves and for the people that we care about, because I don't ever want to see people have to struggle the way that we did, right? And learn
Right.
how, as a family, right, how to come together and communicate to each other to support one another, but also to have people like yourself and Hope and all the other amazing people out there that are doing this work, to learn those skills, right? To be able to not be afraid to ask those questions like, I don't know what this,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And it's okay to be afraid. It's okay not to say anything. It's okay to be like, I don't know what to say, so I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. Yeah, that's probably good too, right?
Right.
One thing that people don't understand. Here's the main thing that people don't understand. There's no right or wrong way to do this. But when people are in the vulnerable stages of the grieving process, sometimes it's okay not to say anything. Your presence
Is
is
all they need.
enough. Allow
Hmm.
a person to feel free enough to be open and vulnerable with you. Don't invite a person in and then make it about you, because it's not about you.
No.
It's about the person that you hold in space with. Learn how to communicate. Learn how to lead with your heart and not with your mind and your mouth. But these are
Mm.
just some little small tools that you can use, right? And we're going to take a small break real quick. And when we come back, we're going to dive deeper into this conversation. For everybody out there, again, thank you guys for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? If this is your first time tuning in, do me a favor, head on over to that YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification. And yes, we are streaming across all 117 different platforms. We got a lot of people coming in. Thank you guys for all of that. Guys, Cyndee, we're going to be right back. All right.
Okay.
Awesome. I'll see you here shortly.
Okay.
Welcome to Eternal Diary, the groundbreaking innovation from One Nation, a leader in AI-driven video technology. Imagine preserving the voice, personality, and memories of a loved one to keep them alive forever. Eternal Diary brings this vision to life. What if you could hear their voice again? See their smile? Not just through old recordings or fading memories, but through an interactive conversation that feels real, responsive, and deeply personal.
Well, I had just turned 25 and decided I needed a little escape. Life was too serious back then.
Welcome to Eternal Diary. Eternal Diary is a groundbreaking posthumous AI-driven experience that allows families to continue sharing moments, memories, and even conversations with their loved ones, long after they've passed. Using cutting-edge deep learning algorithms, high-fidelity voice synthesis, and the power of NVIDIA's ultra-fast AI chips, Eternal Diary reconstructs the essence of your loved one with astonishing realism. This isn't just a memory. It's an interactive experience that evolves over time. Here's how it works. Within 3 weeks of signing up, you and your family will submit key materials, photos, voicemail recordings, any past audio or video files, helping Eternal Diary analyze voice patterns, facial expressions, and speech habits with remarkable precision. Our proprietary neural networks map out vocal inflections, personal anecdotes, and even emotional cues, ensuring a fully immersive experience. But it doesn't stop there. Family members will also contribute personal stories, recordings or written memories, along with important dates, like the birthdays of children and grandchildren, anniversary milestones, and unforgettable life moments. This data is then uploaded into our secure AI-driven memory framework, allowing Eternal Diary to recognize and recall meaningful events just as your loved one once did. Once the reconstruction process is complete, each family member receives a unique login to their own Eternal Diary gateway, a personal portal where they can engage in seamless, natural conversations. With ultra-low latency processing, thanks to NVIDIA's AI acceleration technology, responses occur in nanoseconds, making each interaction feel truly alive. Imagine hearing your father say,
"And I am never far. Every time the wind brushes your cheek, every time you light incense, and every time you laugh, it is a part of me celebrating with you."
These are not pre-recorded messages. This is Eternal Diary, actively engaging with you, responding to your words, your emotions, asking you questions, just as they would have in life. Eternal Diary is more than a bridge to the past. It's a living, evolving experience that connects you to the present and future. Using advanced RSS integration and real-time data processing, your loved one isn't just reminiscing about old memories. They're engaging with today's world. From breaking news to local weather updates, from last night's big game to tomorrow's forecast, Eternal Diary delivers dynamic, real-time conversations that make every interaction feel truly alive. Whether it's your grandfather talking about today's game with a story,
Tua. The best? Oh, he's good, no doubt, real good. But the best? Well, now that's a tough call. Let me take you back to 1972, the year of the perfect season.
or your mother reminding you,
That's why I'm here now, my love. To remind you of a few things. Marriage isn't about perfection. It's about partnership. Some days will feel like a fairy tale, and others, well, they might feel like a thunderstorm.
these conversations go beyond nostalgia. Powered by or AI-driven data streams, Eternal Diary ensures your loved one remains part of your daily life. Yesterday, today, and in the years to come. Eternal Diary is more than just technology. It's a bridge between past and present, a way to preserve the essence of those we love. every story, every laugh, every piece of wisdom they left behind, now woven into an experience that keeps them a part of your life, forever. Memories fade, but love and the voices of those who shaped us don't have to.
We are back, and I have to tell you, Cyndee, I was sitting here and I had to wipe my eyes a little bit. You know, I'm not afraid to admit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is powerful, powerful conversation. And I happened to see Juan come over and everything. I was like, look at him in the background. You know what I'm saying? Always supportive, always doing those things. To answer the question in here, we still got some hearts coming into the comment section. Juan put his in there. Jaden put his in there as well. And to answer this question, this is safe. Yes, it is. And it's going to be live as soon as we get done. So, and if you need the link, you can either get it from myself or
I'll send it out
there as well. And want to say, yeah, they're talking about your sister, which is pretty cool,
Yeah.
right? Which is pretty cool. Now, which leads me to the next question. As we navigate this, what can we do to help those out there right now, going beyond the support groups? What are some of the steps that we could take to work with other organizations to incorporate what we do? Because this is a universal thing, right? This is a universal human thing. So in your own opinions, in your own thoughts, what are some of the things that we can do to encourage families to be more supportive? And how do we hold that space with each other?
So yeah, helping. I'm hoping that what I'm doing is trying to put organizations. I want to put the organizations together. You know what I'm saying? Like, to make it where we're communicating so that there will be more voices out there. There will be more opportunities to people to connect and engage with each other. But as for families who are not a part of this community, how can they help? They can come walk with us. This is June Awareness Month. Murdered. Let's see, how is it? National Murdered Victims Month is June's month, and so this week is major walks throughout the United States, that I'm maybe even international. They do walks. The communities get together. You've got to get out with us when we do things, and you see, to be a part of it, you've got to actually get out and talk to them. I mean, the communities all have things going on. You just have, the people have to want to be a part of it. And honestly, people don't want to be a part of this conversation. I mean, nobody wants to talk about grief. Nobody wants to talk about somebody's daughter being murdered or son being murdered, or that's just not what people want to talk about, what people want to do. I wish I knew what I could do. I want to know, what can I do to get people to help us, to make this community better, to get our voices out there, to not let grief be such a bad word.
This is true. This is very true, which leads me to, when we think about grief, right, we will all at some point develop our own interpretation of it, right? And I don't think there's any sort of specific definition of it, right? And I think it changes over time. So at this present stage in your life, I want to ask those out there that are listening right now, you know what I'm saying? What is your definition of grief in this present stage in your walk?
The
right?
grief is the
Doesn't like
love that I
walking.
carry, the love that I carry for my child that I have no place for it to go. That's what it is right now. So I am taking my love that I have for my child and I am putting it into the community, into others who need healing and help. Because I didn't have, I had the community, online communities because it was COVID. I didn't have a community that I could feel close to, feel the embrace of at the time. So now, 5 years later, I know that my grief is the love for my Allie, that I can't give to her anymore, that I can't hug her, I can't kiss her, I can't give her advice and stuff. So now I'm going to pour that into others who need it.
Now I'm gonna ask a really deep question. First,
Mm.
I want to say thank you, Juan,
How
for
much
that.
deeper can we get?
Well, we never know. We never know, right? The conversations
Right,
just go where it goes, and things
right.
like that. And you know, so I want to say, first, I want to say, Juan, thank you for that. You know, what I'm saying that really truly means a lot. I just wish I could do more, right? To those that know me, I'm always thinking about how can I do more to support everyone that's in this field. And I'm gonna give my various definitions. From the beginning, you know, my grief was the nightmares, right? The nightmares that wouldn't go anywhere. They're repetitive memories of what I saw, right? It's embedded into my conscious mind. But it's the growth that came along with that as well. I would say about 2 years after that, my grief was the loneliness, right? It was the deep sadness that wouldn't go anywhere, that I couldn't explain to people. It was the words not spoken because I didn't have any words, right? I didn't have the words, and I would say at year 5, it was it was the confusion, right? Like, what do I do now? How do I navigate this new world that I'm in? It's understanding the world has changed. Everything in it has changed for us, right? And now we're trying to develop what that or get a sense of what that looks like. And at year 9, it's the unconditional love that I have for those out there like myself, right? And those that I know that at some point in time it's going to be everyone else that we encounter, right? And
Yeah.
to make sure that I am present, um, to be a part of that journey, to be appreciative, to have gratitude, to even be in a space where individuals can be open and honest, um, and learn forgiveness. Now that's going to take a little bit, but that's what it's
Oh,
learning
yeah.
now. And so, and I say that because
And I'm laughing it off.
yeah, look, I'm right there with you, right? And because and what I've just described is the multiple stages of grief. It's not just 5 stages; it's the multiple stages of grief that I've learned to integrate within the pillars
Right,
of
right.
grief, right? And so it's ever evolving, and I think that's for me is the most fascinating part, right? It's ever evolving. There's always something to learn. There's always something to heal within you, because the
Hmm.
healing process is so revealing, right?
Hmm.
It'll make you the healing
That's
process
it.
will make you pull up the issues that you thought that you never had,
I would
right?
say year 4 for me was that. And see, this year is me growing and learning and healing the inner child so that grown Cyndee can blossom. So her roots ain't all nasty at the bottom and rotted. We gotta get them roots together so that this beautiful sunflower can become the biggest, brightest light out there. Like
Mhm.
I want to be more than what I have been. I never would have before this. I never would have been sitting here talking on a podcast before this because I'm the shyest person. I don't talk to anybody. I don't have confidence in myself. Like, there's a lot going on behind these closed doors. And I'm this is working all this out. This grief, this process is working all this out. And that's, I want other people to know that even if you were not, even if mental illnesses, we all have, and we all have to not let those superpowers control us. And I had let those superpowers control me for a while, and I am now ready to take control. I guess is the best. In my year 5, I'm ready to take control. Where I wasn't before, because before, year 4 was it was a very big eye-opening year for me.
Right.
That's what
Now,
I didn't want to stay stuck. I was stuck. I didn't want to stay stuck. I was, and year 5 is my healing year.
I love the pictures that you have in your background.
That's my baby.
I know I can see that. I can definitely see that. That's totally beautiful. Thank you for sharing those with me. Now it leads me to this next question. And again, I just want your thoughts and opinion. And when I ask this question, anybody out there right now can answer them in the comment section. Please do. And if you're still listening and this is touching you, hey, put those hearts in there, please. You know what I'm saying? Show your support. What do you think is the hardest to grieve? The present, the past, or the uncertainty of the future?
The uncertainty of the future.
That's deep, right?
Yep.
And I want to dive deeper into that. In your own words, can you define that for us?
Well, I grieve not Allie not getting married or having babies. And then I also have anxiety super bad and worry about my children because my baby girl's 20. That's how old Allie was when she died. Like, there's a lot of different things that we grieve. It's not just, oh, somebody was taken from us. We grieve the changes, if we change jobs, we grieve if we lose a friend, we grieve, so right now it is my daughter not being present in the future with her siblings, um and me not being able to see her grow older and accomplish the things that she would have, that's I get stuck in that. I get stuck real bad in that.
About that. Put that comment up here soon. I want to get your thoughts on this, right? Or just give me your thoughts on this. How do we educate people to be able to hold that space as we begin to grow? Right? How do we encourage people to do that?
Don't stay away. Stay present. I mean, we all grieve differently, so we can't expect anybody to do things that we would want, right? Like talking about our child or coming to events. But being present and just still being there and not going away is definitely everything that we need. You know, we don't have to talk about Allie all the time, but you coming by and just showing your face is enough to let me know that you still think about my child and me too, So, continuing to support me in the things that I do, like the walks that I go on. I post them all over my Facebook, and you know, being a part of the community, the walks, we have a couple different things in the community that we do that is for the grieving parents, but we ask for the community to come and be a participant and be a part of and listen to our stories and kind of really just trying to help the community, because if you see what we're going through, you will want change too. If you actually feel the pain that we feel on a daily basis, it don't matter if it's day one or year 15, the pain is still the same when you don't have your child. They're still not here. Just listening and honestly, the biggest thing is listening and staying with us and not walking away from us, because we become lonely. We lose so many people because nobody wants to deal with this. So many people, family. I mean, your family, your blood. You lose your friends that you've known for years. And people that you work with. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't even want to come around you, or they go a different direction when you're walking that way because they're afraid. Like, do you know how much more lonelier that makes you feel when all you had to do is just bypass and just smile? That's it. That's all you got to do is smile.
Yeah,
You don't have to say nothing.
I think that's the part of grief no one really talks about, as well as the trying times. It's the loneliness that comes in between it. You know, fortunately for me, I got used to it. I learned to sit in the loneliness, and if I wouldn't recommend that for people, right? For me, it's a learning thing. Um,
It's a process. Yeah. I
it's
mean,
it's
like,
it's a process,
I
and
still get
even now,
stuck.
yeah, yeah,
I still
but
get stuck.
even
Yeah.
now, like
I'm real
people
stuck,
don't
but
understand how comfortable I am. Like, if you want to leave, leave. I've gotten so used to it, right? Family, friends,
right.
people that I've met that have become strangers. I have a philosophy of my life. It's like, I am only here to walk you to your next destination. I don't expect you to be with me forever, because, for one, I'm just passing through. And if I can give you a little bit of me to give you some sort of strength and learn from each other, maybe we can share a little laughter. I don't want you to be upset when you have to leave, right? 'Cause we may have to part ways. Now, if you are with me for a long time, I take that as a bonus, and I appreciate those little simple things, because the future is uncertain. All I have
Right.
right now is in the moment, and it's not personal. I think as grievers, it's easy for us to take things personal, right? Because we often have questions like, why can you just stay a little bit?
We
Why?
take it even more personally
Right, right.
because we're already hurt.
Yeah, we're already hurt. But now, here's where I say that stage of forgiveness comes in, because as someone, as individuals who have experienced this deep loss, this deep pain that we can't oftentimes explain, we want so bad for others to understand what we're going through. The forgiveness and the patience part comes in, because do we really want them to know what we're feeling? Because if we do, that means that we have a lot more in common. That pain is so deep, it's so embedded, right? And so this is why I say we have to have patience with it, because if they have not experienced it, they're not going to know how to hold space with us. They're doing the best that they can with what we have, what they have to work with. And knowledge is key, but wisdom is power. In order to have knowledge, you have to experience. The wisdom comes from the
Right.
growth that comes along with that, you know.
Absolutely.
And so we got a few comments coming in here. I'm going to pop these up here. Hope says, I can still feel physically the past and present, but the uncertainty of what is to come, I can't feel. Definitely understand that. Definitely understand that. And Juan, of course, he's supporting. I mean, actually says, you got this. You're amazing. Of course, and she is, right, very, very powerful. So we're going to run through these. I can only hope that people will wake up and say, no more time. This pandemic of senseless killings, and make a real change for the safety of our youth. Please wake up. Yes, and you know what? Coming from a place where I'm a former gang member, was for 24 years. I haven't been in the games for quite some time, and I've seen the other side of it. And you're right. It's time for us to wake up. It's time for a change. It's time for those individuals like myself who have walked this path to get out there, begin to do more, advocate for our youth, and let's get back to creating a safe environment for all of us as human beings to be able to grow, prosper, and have support and love for one another.
Yes.
And please stop this unnecessary evil of senseless killings. Yes, it's time. It's time. Let's see. As a strong Black man, I'm tired of hurting because of someone else's decision to take my daughter and other kids. It's too much, but I'm willing to stand, walk, talk, whatever it takes to help and save. I totally agree. What about a wine and painting? Yes,
Okay.
but can I just, I want to make a suggestion here. Be careful with that, because alcohol and drugs, sometimes depending on what
Are
a
not
person is
good.
in that stage, it can be something that turns into an addiction if you're not careful.
That's right.
So, I would say go to a retreat, like form a retreat, go out there and do things, what I'm saying, that doesn't involve those things, because we don't want people to become dependent on becoming numb. We want people to move
Right.
forward in the healing process. The painting aspect, yes. But, one thing that I learned, it was going out into the wilderness, taking a camping trip or something like that with a group of men, and we get out there, we do fishing, right? We may go out there and take bow and arrows, things like that. We may go out there and do some axe throwing. Be creative, but we don't want to trade one for another. And I'm speaking from being a former alcoholic myself. Okay.
Okay.
And it took me, I was an alcoholic for 20 years. For 20 years.
I was raised by one, so
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
so we want to really be careful with that, and not encourage people
But doing,
to
yeah,
substance.
art is definitely a healing
Yeah.
um, group activity, because everybody could get together and do that. I mean, but um, uh, the ACE Healing Project that I'm a part of, we do retreats every year, and I will be returning on to my third one in October of this year. So I've definitely, those healing retreats are on another level.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
they
no.
are on another level.
Hey, we need more of that, right? You know what I'm saying? I just got done with my third year of my Global Grief Conference, and we're still pushing strong. I've been truly blessed to be able to do that. And I did exactly what Juan is saying, to give back to those communities that otherwise wouldn't even know that they were there, and coming from a place where I can walk into these communities and I can communicate with people, not just the youth, but the guys people my age, and even the elderly, to find out what is needed, right? We have to get
Mhm.
more involved in finding out what they need and not what we think that they need, right? Listen to the
So
voices, seeing
right.
what we need to do to put that support out there. But we have to stop asking people to come and meet us where we are. We have to go back and meet them where they are, because that's where they're more comfortable. We have to get out of our own way, out of our own comfort level, and
And
go
I
in
think
there.
that, I mean, if grief wasn't such a bad word, it would be a lot easier to get that help. I'm a part of this nonprofit called Less is More, and that is actually what we are trying to do, is to do billboards and TikToks and Facebook, and let people be aware of what not only about like the murder, murders and stuff like that, but what it causes people and how it makes people feel. We want it to be something that's flowing through Facebook and TikTok, just like all the other stupid infomercials. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it needs to be that. We need to be that aware. Like, grief is probably most of the reason why everybody's addicted to drugs in our life, and their life isn't the same because they didn't get the help that they needed. And if we make communities that we can all come together and help and support each other, there wouldn't be as many addictions.
This is true, but I think it's part of the process, though.
Yeah.
It's definitely part of the process. If people is wondering what I just did, there's a link in the description right now. That is the link to a magazine that I started, Grief Talk magazine. It's a free link, and it's part of the things that we do to bring more awareness to, and it showcases articles, it showcases resources from people who have walked the walk and talked the talk, that just like Cyndee, myself, and so many other people that have changed people's lives one heartbeat at a time. So, if you would like, copy and paste it, check it out. You know what I'm saying? It is free for you to just read. And I do one every month, guys. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking to put more inside of it. People
Go
share their
copy and
stories
paste
too.
that.
We talk about
Go
different
copy.
types of grief. Okay. And that is for you. That is my gift to you. It just came out. It just got released today. So please go and check that out. And as we begin to wrap this up, Cyndee, I would love to do more. Please tell me how I can support to get more awareness out there. I know Hope is part of, Hope is out there as well. And I'm
Look up
to do.
Less is More. It's a nonprofit in Louisville. Look up ACE's Healing Project. It's a nonprofit in Louisville. Look up Moms of Murdered Sons and Daughters. They're a nonprofit in Louisville. Grief to Hope. They're a nonprofit. She is out of Ohio, but she does online every 7 weeks. That is where I got started, where I started processing my grief. The whole process, she has been there for the whole 5 years, and every time it's 7 weeks, so every she does it 3 times a year, so for 7 weeks, and every time I go and every time I get something different out of it, every time I learn, every time I grow. This is a growing process. This is a journey that I am on, I will be on for the rest of my life. And I just want to be doing it right. I want to be helping and healing others during my healing time. And that's what I feel like is going to help me. And that's what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah, it's definitely. Do me a favor. When we get done, send over that information. I would love to feature it into the magazine.
Yeah.
So people know where those resources are. Hope, also send me over your info about Grief to Hope. That way I can feature that in the magazine as well. And, we're just going to keep building up our resources. I don't want people to ever have to search for the support that they need and deserve, right? Because we're all on social media. We are. And I want to do so much more for the people that truly need us, right? And again, people, copy and paste that link. Check it out, right? And this is just one more step in the right direction to bring support, normalizing this thing that we call grief, that is such a foreign language to most people. Let's not make it foreign.
Right.
Now, Cyndee, I just got a few more questions for you as we
Okay.
wrap this up. First and foremost, I want to say thank you for such a powerful conversation.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate
You're
it,
so welcome, man. I appreciate you as well. I would love to connect with you and see how much more we can do in this world.
He wants to connect with you and see what more he can do.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, most definitely. And so I have her email, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to send some information over there to you. Let's connect and do some more things. So a couple more questions, Cyndee.
Yes.
How can people find you?
I'm Cyndee Garrett on Facebook, Cyndee Garrett on TikTok, and then I'm Cyndee Garrett 14 at gmail.com. I'm just getting started, but I'm here I'm here to walk with anybody who needs help walking through this grief. And it doesn't matter any kind of grief. Losing my daughter wasn't the first grief that I've went through. So I have a lot that I have conquered, and I'm willing to support anybody else who needs that type of help.
Love that. So now my next question would be, if you had a superpower, what would it be?
Ooh.
See, there's that laugh. She's like, "Oh wow, you got it. Okay."
Okay, because we love superpowers around here.
Oh,
I have many of them mentally, but yeah. So, which one would I choose? I think that I don't know. Like I would want them all. I would want them all because I want them all. Like I just want to be superb. The Phoenix, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yes,
okay.
Yes. I love that. I mean, because again, when I ask this question, it's we want to do so much for people. Our superpowers define actually who we are and to grow, right? So if you have multiple superpowers, it's just part of who you are in your growth and who you are in your stage of healing in this grieving process, right? And so now, my last question would be to you: if you could leave the audience with something, what would you leave them with?
Live, laugh, and love.
I like that. And for everyone out there, we even have some people in Miami over here on Instagram. A lot of people have tuned in today, just sitting back and just enjoying the conversation. Thank you for doing that. And if you haven't already, just your first time tuning in, do me a favor. Maybe these conversations aren't for you. Maybe you know someone who could benefit from the conversations that we have. Share this along with them. But if you do enjoy these, I do a podcast every day. But follow, hit that subscribe button, like, comment, subscribe. We do have a Patreon, so we do have a lot of other things coming up. The magazine, and as well, going to be updating a whole lot of stuff for you guys, just to make sure that you guys can stay connected with each other, but find the support that you need and deserve. And with that being said, Cyndee, just hang around for a bit. With that being said, Cyndee, thank you again for being an amazing guest on the show. Can't wait to do even more with you. And for everyone else, I love you. Thank you for your support. And we're going to see you guys in the next one, all right? Peace.